And underway. I'm sure we're going to see some fireworks fly on this map as one of the newer maps in the pool. We are generally seeing it being quite attacker-leaning, something that we commented on yesterday. It's quite strange to see, as normally when a new map comes out, it tends to be defender-leaning, while the attackers figure out the most optimal routes, the best ways to attack it. Thatcher going to be the first one taken off the board, and I think, as X commented earlier on the broadcast, if your life was on it, you'd say Thatcher's going to be the operator that gets banned nearly every single map.
Nothing unusual there. To be fair, we'll see what the second attacker is. It's going to be the Nomad, so that's going to be preventing not only run-outs, but also potentially rotations. We've seen how important the top floor is here on Chalet. Once you've got it cleared, you don't want to have to worry about defenders coming back up there necessarily, so you take the Nomad, you put the air jabs out. Well, NIP are having none of that, Des. They're going to look to get in there and just get unpredictable by the looks of things.
Yeah, and I think on the previous map, a lot of Nomad was played by NIP in their half. You'd see them take control of Piano, tag it down on doorways, for example, to stop Liquid going hyper-aggressive, essentially put them sat quite far back, and clearly they've had enough. They've been triggered by that clash that was inside a coffee on the kitchen execute, and they're saying this time round, it's got to go away. The spiciest ban of the bunch there, absolutely the smoke. Pivotal to so many teams and their setups. NIP have said, let's take that one away. Let's not give them the stall tactics. I want to see what comes out of the other side. What is it Liquid are going to respond with? Are we going to see on some of the rounds of Chanka, for example? We spoke about this a couple of days ago, how we saw it coming out on maps like the Consulate, just for that AoE denial if you really want to shoehorn that in. But on this map, we are seeing an operator here that seems to get picked up more often than not. It's going to be the Frost.
Well, the thing is now, Des, this is for Team Liquid. It's about not leaving anything on the field here. It's about just absolutely delivering everything that they can here. There is no strat that should go untried. There is, you know, they have to try everything, because otherwise they will walk away from this if they do lose here on Chalet, just wondering what if. So it's just about coming in now and doing absolutely everything they can. And if they think that that is the Frost or the Tachanka or whatever operator it might be that they feel gives them the edge, that's what they've got to do, Des. They've got to bring everything at NIP here, and they've got to, for my money, they've got to be unpredictable. That's the big thing here on Chalet. We've seen Team Liquid play this map recently. NIP, they're great at prepping for teams on the fly. They'll have watched that Chalet, they'll have broken it down, they'll know what Team Liquid's strategy is here.
All right, let's get into it then. Bar and Gaming, to kick things off, we often speak about this site seemingly all the time. Library going to be where you find most of the holds on this map start. Up on the top floor, have a player or two dug inside there. It's where the Frost can really shine on a window or two to slow down the attackers coming in. And maybe you look at this and you haven't watched competitive Siege for a few months and you're thinking, why the bloody hell are we seeing a Frost stepping back up again? Well, she was given the ITA secondary recently. She can help with a lot of site transformation. She also has a shield. She has those Frost mats. Her primary's pretty darn good. There's a lot of things that make her very viable at the moment, and when you're forcing attackers to jump through a window to challenge you, and there's a Frost mat on the ground, they've got one of two options. Jump in and pray they kill you before the Frost mat does, or jump in, shoot the Frost mat first, and there's a very good chance that you die first because the other person that you're meant to be challenging is going to shoot you ahead of time. It forces some very tough decisions, or at the very least will force the attackers to burn through valuable resources to get rid of those Frost mats before taking the challenge, which costs time, costs people, costs resources. It's never a nice story.
Here bringing absolutely everything here, Des. Moosey's just knocked out the couple of bottom boards of a barricade and then just crawled underneath it so that he's not taking the entire barricade.
Boy has no idea.
Noise, and that is exactly why he's done it, Des. He's moved in and got a great entry onto Palu, who had absolutely no idea that the Ash was down in the basement. He pops up and shouts surprise, and Palu, he is off the board in round one.
They got themselves the early control as well, in the sense of Solarium was taken control of. They forced members back out of playing Piano. Office has been cleared out. Everything's going in favour of the attackers, at least to begin with, and it's sure to put the shakes up you when you can't play behind those C4s anymore. They had 4 of them at the start of the round. 3 still remain in back pocket, admittedly, but with Palu going down, you're probably thinking it's a little tougher now to play on the ground floor. Very commonly, you'll see a player holding at the top of library stairs, by the way, sat behind a shield, and it can be quite a war to unseat the man playing there. We'll see how quickly NIP can deal with it.
Kamikaze looking to apply some pressure onto PSK here, but he's still established inside of the mezzanine. Gets his kill onto Pino there at the office window. And Muzi, he keeps moving freely through this map. Gets a kill onto Nesk with a headshot there to maintain that man advantage that they had. But PSK in a power position right now, looking to challenge onto Kamikaze. Shut down ultimately as he manages to find his man inside of Library. 4 versus 2 now, and NIP, they're coming out strong here with 30 seconds left to go for this bar and game room attack.
There's a real big question to ask for Liquid when Parlo and Nesk are off the field. Who's going to step up and be the hero player for them? We've seen the odd great round from Moringa. We've seen the odd great round from Sexy Cake, but outside of that, there isn't anyone that can really drag around back from the brink, and here it's too far over the brink. It's all the way over the edge. NIP starting this map exactly the way as they concluded Cafe, in absolute dominance.
Spirit's so high in the NIP camp right now. Every single round is greeted by cheers, by screaming. They are pumped here, and Des, it feels like they can feel it. They know what's coming. Every round drags them closer to that moment that was so close back in 2020, where they can lift that hammer and be crowned the best in the world at Rainbow Six Siege. PSK held on valiantly on the mezzanine there, but ultimately shut down by Kamikaze with a great line of sight through into Library there. Kamikaze going well. I mean, he's a support player, but he's getting in there, getting the kills as well. He's really bringing the whole 9 yards at the minute.
I believe coming into yesterday, Kamikaze was the only player on all of NIP that was sat with a negative KD. And I know it sounds like, oh, why are you pointing out one player being on negative KD? He's a support player. He's not meant to shine in the frags department, and more often than not, he is the one man left when everyone else has died and has to go on to try and win a clutch. Newsflash, you don't win most of the clutches that you come into, unless you're Nesk, as we saw in the previous series. But seeing him be sharp in this series against a few of the players that he's stepping against has been absolutely wonderful for them so far. He's now ahead in 7-6 total KD across the whole series. Definitely not knocking the lights out, but doing enough to deliver for his team. Whereas you look at the other side, the closest kind of comparator, Nesk currently top of the kill board for the side of Liquid. He is 8-8. It has not been a pretty start for the side of Liquid when arguably the best fragger that we've got in the game right now is stacking up and doing ever so slightly worse, you'd wager, than the support on the other side. It's a real rough game right now for Liquid. We need to see some magic coming out. We need to see Parlo and Nesk start getting fired up in these early rounds, because that is what has carried them through many a tough game here at SI.
The big problem for Liquid, Des, is that every round that goes by here that they don't win, the next one becomes harder.
Yeah.
Because the prize is in touching distance for NIP. They know that this is the only map that they need to win now. They know if they get this, they are done now. We're going to have Ness just dropping down underneath. He feels the pressure.
Oh, he's snaked out of here. How?
Somehow manages to wriggle himself away to safety for the time being. We are on a top floor site here. It's going to be Master and Office that NIP are attacking onto. Muzi just looking to shoot out that barricade there. Sometimes worth doing with bullets rather than a melee hit. You never know what's on the far side of it or who you might catch out. Sexy Kate just catching the drone there, looking to ping it out. He doesn't manage to get the destruction of it, so the information will continue to feed in for NIP. Something again that you feel that they've done well so far. They've had a really good handle on where these Team Liquid pushes are coming from.
This is interesting because Kamikaze and Muzi have just gone for a bit of a marathon here, rotated up from the south side of the map all the way to the north, and have basically said, look, this is getting a little bit silly now. We're being held up by Library Stairs, by the player on mezzanine. We didn't manage to pinch onto Nesk and kill him before he dropped. We're wasting a lot of time here. Let's completely rebase our attack. Something that I commended Liquid for a lot yesterday. NIP is showing the mid-round decision-making is there to know when they're not going to be able to walk away the winner in a given engagement or setup, and instead opt to go and take something differently. All 5 members of NIP now crawling over the north side. Yes, it gives them a reduced amount of time, but Paolu's going to start off with a kill onto Pino. That's what we wanted to see to get this going. Psycho back onto Moringa. 4 versus 4 and 60 seconds to play, Ace.
Again, something that NIP have done so well so far in this game is to trade those kills out. Never let Team Liquid get on top of them or have that man advantage. We've got another set of trades coming out there as Muzi manages to get one, but Paolu finds him. Kamikaze getting in once again, going in there like a missile at the minute. it, Des. One kill after another, and then starts putting the diffuser down as well. Palu, he looks to aggress forward. The upside down rappel will find him though. Julio on great cover there. 3 versus 1. Diffuser in place and activated. This is surely another NIP round, as it's all for PSK to do. 1 versus 3. We've seen him accomplish this time after time at the Six Invitational, but it just feels like this might be a stretch too far. He looks for the peak, but Julio shuts him down with ease, and NIP cruise 1 round closer.
Again, cannot commend NIP enough there for the mid-round rotate at 1:30. Acknowledge things aren't working out to the south. They're lagging behind where they need to be. They make a really aggressive change up towards the north, pick up a couple of kills, stick Julio on the window looking into office, and he goes absolutely massive from there. For the defenders, for Liquid, that's normally when you'd expect them to send someone running downstairs, run out of trench, and go for the spray down onto the window player. That removes all the office control for the attackers and forces them to do everything from inside a solarium or piano if they can capture it. But because he was left uncontested and no one shut him down, that was all too easy for NIP. They're a lot more proactive is how I'd describe them in this game, whereas right now Liquid are being forced to be the reactive side, and that is never a back foot that you want to be stood on.
Round number 3, we are heading into then. We're going to go to Master and Office once again. So another top floor hold coming out of Team Liquid. They're going to try it again, Des, and they weren't even close, to be fair. Last time is the reality there. They were not even close to holding on to this site. NIP just, again, had their numbered as they had them at every single turn. They had the cover in place. They had the entry kills that they needed. They got the man advantage, the diffuser down. There was just so little that Team Liquid could do inside of that round.
Again, I really don't know what to suggest for them either, because for Palu, he had 2 kills early in the round. He was doing exactly what we asked at the end of the round prior, is these boys need to get involved earlier, start picking up some kills, slow down NIP, and give yourself more room to breathe. But even with those 2 kills, NIP never really slowed down. Kamikaze stepped into office, found the 1 kill, went for the plant, and Julio had the cover. They needed 2 men for the operation, but had a 3rd one inside a bathroom in case it was required, and there would be a flank, for example. So you need to do something more here, boys. The NIP aren't being slowed down by time. They aren't being heavily contested on gunfights. They have no problem going for the plants. And I think coming into yesterday, our comment was that for MIBR, they had 25 plants across the whole tournament. NIP coming into that series, they had 8. They were, I'm pretty sure without a doubt, the lowest number of plants as a team, bar none. They just did not want to play for objectives. They were much more happy just slaughtering their opponents and winning off the back of that. But at least here, that objective focus, even with the late round rotates in play, you can see why they're one of the teams in the grand final, Ace.
Julio sending in those firebolts from the Capitao there just to keep the man at bay on the trophy stairs. We've seen this before, Des. Pinch from the trophy window, pinch from the solarium window, and there is absolutely nothing that the man on the stairs can do except wait to die. Moringa, he's going to try to book that trend. He's going to try and find him.
2 of them here.
There's 2 of them, Des. This is a nightmare right now. They are absolutely locked in.
He swapped over an ADS late. He's brought it with him here as well, I think, to try and swallow something. It's still going to go through and catch out onto Sexy Cake at the very least, but I think they're preparing for a grenade to come singing in, because Pino has got 2 still on his back shoulder here, ready to come flying in. That's him on the upside down rappel. This is good time wasting, but in it comes. That ADS strikes once, but I think he only brought 1 with him, Ace. No, he brought 2. They consume both nades. They've got nothing left to be able to force him out here. Beautiful adaptation coming out from Sexy Cake to bring that ADS over.
Big player, Neski doubles down on it with an entry kill onto Muzi. This is what we need from Team Liquid. Nice utility management, aggression in the early round to get that kill, and that gives them an advantage here. 5 versus 4, and the pressure might just start to mount on NIP here as Team Liquid, they are hidden all over the map. They are not showing themselves. They're not giving any easy opportunities to them here.
It's the first time NIP have looked a little bit baffled at what to do next. Where do they step into? What craziness do they need to deploy to bring this back over? And I think at 50 seconds left, it might be a little bit late to go for a sudden rotate in terms of strategy. Shotgun out of Moringa, blasts Pino off the rappel, down he goes, and make it at 4 versus 3 as Julio, he strikes back. NIP aren't out of this one yet. You can't count them out, but the question has to be asked, if Liquid can't win this round, what one can they win?
Psycho loses out on a fight there. Nesk finding the headshot. He cannot find another from PSK though as Julio gets the kill. He's gone big so far inside of this. Both kills have gone to him. He shuts down. No, it's Kamikaze who gets to the man first. 2 versus 2. Nesk though finds one. That's a triple on the round. Can he find the quad? Surely no. Julio manages to survive for a second longer. But if it can't be Nestes, who else is it going to be? Palu steps up and closes out the round for Team Liquid.
Just like we said, if you can't win this round, there are none that you can walk away as the victor in. Really good adaptation coming out of Liquid. And what did we say the round before? NIP are the ones being proactive. Liquid are the ones having to play reactive to their game. Here, it felt like they were ready to greet them on the entry into the building. They changed up their strat a little bit. They brought over the ADSs. Maybe you're asking the question as to why so late on that play coming out of the side of NIP. They had the 2 grenades in back pocket for a solid, 2 minutes until they finally chose to make the play? By then it was too late. All the ADSs have been rotated in and they were ready. Good round for Liquid, but it is just 1 round. I'd love to say let's get super excited.
I am, Des. I'm already, it's too late.
As soon as you knew it was LATAM versus LATAM, as soon as you knew LATAM team was at SI, you were already excited. It is 1. Let's see 2 or 3 more of those here. They need to have at least 2, I feel, going into the second half again, bearing in mind that Chalet is currently an attacker-leaning map before we can get super excited, I think.
Round number 4 then, we'll be heading to Dining and Kitchen. So the defense is going to be reasonably similar here. They're going to try to keep hold of Master and Office. They're not going to want to give up too much possession of those vertical angles. We've already spoken about it. A lot of the attacks here on Chalet will start over in Library, move across the top floor, look to clear out the mezzanine, get control of Master and Office, and then push down from there. But Team Liquid, they're going to do everything in their power to prevent that happening. NIP, they were frustrated in the last round, Des, and believe me when I tell you, that is the ticket to beat in this NIP side. Frustrate them, burn time, force them to execute in the last 10 seconds, and that is where, more often than not, you will find rounds.
Which is what NIP forced on Liquid in the previous map, sorry. So it's back and forth, swings and roundabouts between the 2 teams, absolutely. And for those maybe who aren't too familiar with Chalet, but maybe know Villa quite well, I love comparing this site to that. Where you have the kind of north and south side of the top floor, the defense, at least here, is like a dining setup on Villa. You want to look to try and take that top floor control, normally starting on the south and then moving your way up, but you do have the option to treat it as if it were a bathroom, astronomy, and master bedroom setup here, and that's exactly, by the looks of it, what the majority are going for. Moringa almost being burnt as he ran down, but there's grenades chasing him down the stairs there. They did not miss this time. Down goes Moringa.
NIP learning lessons there, and just one projectile after another flying in to deal with Moringa. The Amadis will just suck in that Ash breach in charge to prevent the utility being cleared that it was targeted at, but it's a good start for NIP. They've got the opening kill this time, they've got those trophy stairs cleared off, so they can look to start pushing in and taking some top floor control, but Sexy Cake is still in position inside of Master Bedroom, and he's going to look to make their lives difficult for as long as possible, but he's also got Nesk backing him up.
All about how much damage they can do and how much time they can waste up here on the north side. There's no current pressure coming in on the window. I say that as Pino then starts to step across. So the angles are being assumed. They've got the one from the north, the one coming in from the window, so they can force control into Office, but let's not forget, the site itself is downstairs. It's all good having that vertical control, but you need to be able to start thinking about how we get on the downstairs. Palu stepping out and bringing one back over. That is the Capital gone. It had already burnt through the fire and smoke, I think, so it's not the end of the world, but it's still a man that you'd like to have kept.
Maverick Kamikaze needs to be careful here. I think Palu's just got a line of sight that looks through close to him. Sexy Cake as well, looking to aggress on the trophy stairs. We've got a little bit of a standoff here. It's as if both are aware of the other, but the one big difference here, Des, is that Sexy Cake doesn't have to move. He's the defender, and the more time that ticks away, the more seconds that are burnt, the better it is for him. Kamikaze's going to have to do something. Nesk will open things up with a kill on Tamuzi. Kamikaze does exactly something and gets the headshot onto Sexy Cake, but it's Nesk once again.
Oh, he can't get away with this.
That name more and more. It's a Kamikaze triple, but PSK with a big double to finish things off. There's Team Liquid are back here on Chalet. 2-2.
I really want to see where that Frostmat kill came in, by the way. We speak about it all the time. A year ago, you would have gone, oh my God, what a moron when stepping into a Frostmat. And now, 12 months on, we still say, oh my God, what a moron for stepping into a Frostmat. We spoke about them earlier on. Looking west main window. Thank you very much for typing that one out for us. The observer's keeping us covered on that front. So that was when he tried to come swinging in from the west main. Unfortunately, Unfortunate, I guess, but that's how these things break down sometimes. Better from Liquid as well, I think, because we spoke around the top floor. They were quite, I'm not going to say willing, but they weren't like forcibly holding on to Office for the sake of it. They were prepared to step back downstairs, and although Kamikaze gave them a bit of a scare with that triple kill, unfortunately at the end it's PSK, or fortunately I guess if you're a Liquid fan, it's PSK who steps up and goes big.
I love that there.
There it is.
Moozy's game is up, Des. Moozy's game is up. There will be no more crawling under barricades to avoid that noise. Nesk caught him out there and got the freest kill of his life, and I'm sure that that is going to prevent Moozy doing it. Yes, you avoid that big crashing sound of the barricade coming down, but when you get caught out crawling through like that, there is no way to realistically defend yourself. You've got to make that argument to say, well, actually, maybe I just give the noise and I come in my ADS and I can at least challenge that gunfight, because you can't keep giving freebies to Nesk like that. If you feed him, he will keep eating. Now then, Kamikaze deserves a big shout. He's gone big so far here on Chalet. To be honest, he's the one really keeping NIP competitive at the minute.
Well, we spoke about it earlier on, didn't we? How he has been, for the longest time, the lowest killing player on the side of NIP, but he was even exceeding.
Oh, it's the definition
matching
of support player.
Oh, absolutely.
It's Kamikaze.
Yeah. One thing I do want to mention about one of the more supportive operators or players that we have in the game, by the way, Sexy Cake. I hate to highlight negative news, but he's 0-12 so far in the series, yet to get himself a kill at a time when I feel like his team really need him, given how the two maps have gone. It's looking better from Liquid. It's looking competitive. Let's not forget, OT, unlimited. It can step into it if it gets that far. We had a few jokes of the day, overtime's on the way, Ace, wouldn't that be funny? And then we actually get to overtime. We'll give it time and see if it plays into that, especially once we step onto the NIP defense, because that could be a completely different kettle of fish.
Psycho looking to approach Office quickly here, looking to push in and again start that process of gaining top floor control. He will have his drone spotted out immediately. He's going to use his second drone there. These attackers at this level are so efficient with that drone use usually. It's something that we talk about consistently, but quite often they will keep a hold of them. Psycho manages to get in. Des, he's gone in there and got the opener onto Nesk. He drones him out. He finds where he is. His drone gets taken down, but then he just pushes in behind it. Nesk, he must know that the push is coming from that Office door, and I'm sure he'll be frustrated to have lost that fight, but Psycho, he drops himself away and moves on to fight in another area of the map because his job is done there.
See how things boil down, because, I mean, speaking about kills, I was looking at it just a second ago to see where we currently stand. We are keeping a close eye on Nesk and whether or not he can push in towards that 300 kills at SI, because yesterday...
39 he will.
39 he needs. Well, right now, he currently stands on 13. So he's got 26 to go. That's going to require a couple more maps, I think, to get over that finish line.
A couple of big maps, is that?
Some very, very big maps for sure. We all want to see it happen, because yesterday 3 players broke the 200 kill barrier. The first time it's been broken, and 3 of them do it all in the same day. It's absolute magic to watch happen. Anyway, pushing in towards the final 60 seconds of the round. Conversations to be having here around the numbers disadvantage. I was about to say that still hangs over Liquid, but Palu comes up big and strikes back. At a time when Nesk isn't slaying everyone on the server, it's good to see you got someone else you can rely on.
Another one caught in a frost mat, but again it's Kamikaze who comes in with a headshot. Moringa's going to finish off Pino. There goes Moozy from Moringa. Team Liquid have woken up, Des. They are fighting back. 3 versus 2 now. Palu on low health, but other than that, Moringa and Sexy Cake looking good. Kamikaze, he drops down to make a challenge to possibly put a plant down. He threatens it. Psycho gets the kill, but no. Sexy Cake comes in with the first kill of the map and the game, and Palu finishes off with the Nitro. Team Liquid, they take the lead for the first time on Chalet.
And a critical first kill at that one to secure your round number 3. 3 on the bounce. Fair to say at the end of round number 2, there would be many concerned, us included, that this was going to be another NIP steamroll. But Liquid starting to look competitive, coming back into it again. 4-2 at the half. I was expecting that's the way that it might go for NIP. But here, suddenly, the conversation turns to Liquid. They either finish the half at 3-3, not bad, or they finish 4-2, even better.
I mean, you sort of feel this energy now coming from Team Liquid. It's like the seal is broken. It's like what they needed was 3 rounds in a row, and it's going to go from strength to strength. And NIP need to be very, very cautious of that fact, because if they can get ahead of steam up behind them,
disgusting.
If they can get ahead of steam up behind them, Des, that's exactly what they're going to do all day long. And that is what is going to make a match of this grand final.
I got a new one for us. If those keep happening in this series, we had the Bolo window. We declared a couple of plays after player names. I'm going to start calling these the Moringa Zingers, because some of those shots are disgusting. We've seen so many naughty little swing outs. Goes to show the sort of magic you can work when you're playing on LAN with zero ping. I want to see more zingers out of Moringa. I want to see more out of all the boys. And Nesk, although he hasn't fully activated to the extent that we saw earlier on, we can't ignore that he is against some of the best from LATAM in this NIP side. There is a reason why they are back here in the grand final 2 years in a row with this roster. Let's get into round number 6 though and see if Liquid can end the half 4-2. And suddenly the conversation turns to, is this going to be a 3-0? And more of a, is this going to be 2-1? And do we get to step into the next map?
Final defensive round for Team Liquid here. It's going to be back up in Master and Office again. We saw this defended in round 2 and round 3. It went one in either direction. NIP with a successful plant and attack in round 2, but then Team Liquid able to close it out nicely in round 3. So I'm sure they've got a little bit of confidence rolling with them now as they managed to get the entry in that round. They managed to really push forward and get themselves a strong advantage and close out the round now then.
Oh, how has he got away with that? Second time. Every time this happens, the setup from NIP, they've got the trophy window, but there's always someone stepping in close, and it's always Moringa, but in comes the swing off the back of the Candelas. Psycho, unaffected by his own gadget, can step in and unleash hell. Moringa's gone down pretty quick there. This is looking dangerous because NIP are now bordering on the site with 2 minutes still to play.
NIP just coming in through that window with pure aggression there and managing to get Moringa cleared out. Nesk will take a challenge on the bathroom door. He's going to dip away from that one. A little bit of damage, I think it was to Psycho there on the Ying. He needs to be careful as Pino's got a horrible long angle onto that bathroom window. But here come the kills. There's Palu and Sexy Kate get one apiece. 4 versus 3 as that man advantage once again swings back in the favour of Team Liquid. NIP have not been able to do enough with the entry kills when they get them. Palu on the Oryx, he's just waiting, Des. He's waiting for Muzi to move in and gets the kill. 4 versus 2 now as Pino and Psycho, they're the last hope. Nesk, he was downed and will be finished off by Pino on a nade. Palu using the Oryx dash to get himself around the map just that little bit quicker. Hatch hop in. That was a weird tongue twister. I didn't expect to have 2 words long. That's why I'm jumping up there as well. I thought we might see more coming out of it. Another down going through onto Pino. Liquid, they're looking like they're going to square up for it, but suddenly it's the 1 versus 1. Gets his man back up, making it 2 versus 1. 2 versus 2. PSK finding 1. They get the last as well. Palu with a triple in the round. It's a 4-2 half coming out for Liquid. There we go, Team Liquid. They are back in the action. 4-2 on the scoreboard and 4 rounds in a row. Serious momentum just building behind this team. We can see something, Des, that we haven't really seen from them today. I haven't felt that same energy coming off the players, the shouts, the screams, the celebrations. We had Nesk almost punching the desk in half yesterday after he got some of them kills. He needed to be careful. It looked like he nearly damaged his hand, but we need that energy back out of these Team Liquid players, and it just feels like it's building now.
You almost see here with the ban that came through from NIP of the Nomads somewhat surprised me because they played it a lot on Cafe, but every now and again here you're seeing a player going for a run out, a run from Trench, for example, or just out the main lobby door, or even rotating back into Office when the team think that it's clear, as was the case with Sexy Cake in that previous round, to pick up the kills that they need. 4-2 to Liquid, things looking much better. And suddenly that third red bar at the top of your screen that might fill in favour of NIP feels a little more distant than what we first expected. Let's see how it breaks down with Liquid stepping into their first round of attack. NIP setting up on the top floor.
This is a really key round here, Des, not just on Chalet, but in the grand final overall. We've seen Team Liquid dominate 4 defensive rounds. The big question on mine, yours, and everybody's lips at home is, can Team Liquid maintain this momentum now that they've switched on the attack? Can they keep finding those kills? Can they keep driving NIP back to the wall? This is an important round. If they get this and go 5-2, you start really doubling down on their likelihood for winning here on Chalet. But if NIP come out with a strong defence, they are only 1 round behind Team Liquid, and it could be anybody's.
You can see where the focus is coming in on keeping the wall electrified, by the way. The one that looks down towards the library stairs, they want to make sure this one stays fully phoned up, as well as Fluke, the new call-out for this wall that we're going with for this tournament. Needs to celebrate out the grand final and the going-ons of yesterday, we'll describe it as. With those three electrified up here, should make it quite comfortable to be able to hold onto it for a good while. You're mainly looking on the attacking side to get below and look to clear it out from there, but they will struggle to do just that because the electro claws are actually out. At least one of them is out in the hallway. The other one is on like a weird shelf thing that you can't shoot from below. So there's a bit of work for the attackers to do here. NIP with a good start, and hopefully Ness can help them spot it out with this IQ.
Kamikaze has been an instrumental part of this attack, but he will instrument absolutely nothing here, Des, as PSK finds a headshot onto him, removing the man and opening up the way for Team Liquid to start considering a push into Trophy. They've still got Psycho at the top of those stairs playing inside of Solarium there, so they're going to have to deal with him as well, but so far, so good. Team Liquid carry their momentum forward onto the attack, get the entry kill, and get themselves an advantage. We're at the halfway point. It's 5 versus 4. Team Liquid, they just need to get boots on the ground inside this map now.
It's all good finding the entry, but if you can't convert that into map presence and map pressure, then there's a question to be asked. And here they're starting to square up on Trophy window. Psycho looking to challenge and go quite aggressive on this one, but I think they're looking to dodge away from this for as long as they can. In comes the push, and Psycho still wins it. Ness should have had his number every single day of the week, but it's simply not going to be the case. It's a bit too late now. PSK, that name clearly standing for please stop killing my teammates, because it's happening time and time again in the early round.
A great play from Psycho. We've seen them over the last few days repeatedly, just managing to flip the 180 there and hit a great shot onto Nesk. Now then, Julio's going to try to hold on in bathroom for as long as possible as the pressure mounts, but Pino is going to do even more to help NIP as he finds a vertical nitro into Solarium and takes down Sexy Cake. 3 versus 4 as the man count swings back and forth. Julio gets one onto Moringa with a headshot. 4 versus 2 now, and NIP, they're looking solid on their first defense of Master and Office.
Life is pain. Parlour trying to catch someone out with a nade. Does do light damage to himself, if nothing else. Not managing to find anyone on the other side. But as it keeps on stepping forwards, again, we spoke about this. It's good getting the entry kill, but you need to be able to take map pressure and map control off the back of it. Great angle held by Muzi as he eats up PSK. 4 versus 1. This is going to be an absolute shutout. Liquid showing that even if you lose the entry, it doesn't mean you lose the round.
NIP just managing to break the momentum that Team Liquid had started to build there. They had, of course, 4 rounds in a row, but as the sides switch, NIP, they managed to knuckle down and find that first defense, put it on the board and bring it back within 1. It is now 4-3 on the scoreboard here of Chalet. I don't need to remind you that, of course, if NIP can win here on Chalet, if they can bring back this deficit, overcome it and get the map, they will be our Six Invitational 2021 Grand Final winners.
We got excited for Liquid, and now I'm just like, if NIP can do this, even when Liquid start with the advantage, there's always questions to be asked. And I touched on Psycho's flick. It wasn't a flick straight into the head in the conventional sense, but the spin and the accuracy with which he then landed onto Nesk coming in behind him. He should have been dead to rights every day of the week, but Nesk not connecting the shots uncharacteristically for him. And that kind of put a spanner in the works of the plans of Team Liquid. Let's see if their second attack can be a little bit stronger than their first, because that one, although it started well, definitely ended in disaster.
Round number 8 then. We've got NIP setting up again in the office, looking to keep control of that area. The site itself is bar and game. They will be looking to keep control of library as well. And by having a man established inside of office with the amount of utility they're putting down to keep him there, it just helps to control this entire top floor. What you don't want to do is give away the entire north side to the attackers without challenge. So NIP putting a lot of utility and manpower over on that side for the time being. And it's again just about those slowing tactics. It's about burning utility. They're going to challenge onto that from mezzanine. They're going to challenge onto it from the double door, the Goyo shield, as much as they can, and try and keep hold of library, if nothing else.
Setup wise, nothing really worth shouting out home again, because it's looked the same as prior. With the Decay on side, they used it last time around to try and take the challenge inside a bathroom, and still, unfortunately, managed to lose that gunfight. Goes to show again that gadgets can help influence gunfights. Doesn't necessarily mean you guarantee the outcome of them. On the other side, NIP, 4 C4s in the back pocket here. A lot of vertical denial in their minds, no doubt. So it'll be down to the side of Liquid to make sure their drones are in play, to make sure they're getting on the downstairs and having the lateral control, lest they suffer at the hands of a couple of C4s and suddenly the round starts looking very bleak.
Team Liquid have got themselves established inside a master for the time being. They will be looking to push forward into office any time now. Nesk just looking on those live pings. They seem to be aware of where the NIP players are holding, but not just ready to go in and make a challenge yet. They're looking for some additional angles here to just try and guarantee with the crossfires that they will be able to come away with the kills. Palu takes a little bit of damage there. Just a chip. Psycho takes more than a chip out of Nesk as he removes his head from his shoulders there and gets them the entry kill once again. NIP 5 versus 4.
Notice how for NIP compared to Liquid earlier on, NIP are actually playing a little bit deeper on this top floor. They're not holding inside of office or inside of bathroom. They've actually got a setup inside of piano. And the main reason for that, I think, is you then have these wonderful cross angles like you just saw coming out from Psycho, where you can contest from the half wall inside of office itself. It gives them these wonderful angles to contest on. And I think for Liquid, it almost feels like it's the first time dealing with it because they're just not 100% sure where players are going to be. They're a little bit late on the reaction times. There aren't the pre-fires that you expect to come out of a map when you've got a lot of confidence. And it is biting them a little bit. Either way, 5 versus 4, NIP should be able to draw things all even here, unless Psycho being down on about 40 HP can be used to Liquid's advantage.
Julio just being stunned out there by the concussion grenade of the Zafir, but he doesn't need to move anywhere. He's going to hold his position. Kamikaze will be downed though, and another man is found as PSK shuts down Muzi. Julio in and amongst all that manages to find a kill, but everything's going in the direction of Team Liquid right now. We've got 3 kills chained together. It's 3 versus 2, and it's down to Psycho and Pino. Scratch Psycho off that list. Triple kill for PSK inside the round. 3 versus 1. Pino, he's got it all to do. Back to the wall, and he will be shot down by Sexy Cake. Team Liquid take another round. They're another round closer to securing Chalet and to moving on to the next map in this Six Invitational 2021 Grand Final.
You're starting to see the build-up here. Well, we turn towards Palu and Nest to be the ones collecting the kills. That round entirely on Sexy Cake and PSK. PSK especially, 3 kills from the same spot. The second came onto a player who had just thrown a C4 skyward, wasn't even looking when he rounded the corner, and PSK took his life for free, making it look a little bit too easy and maybe a little bit of miscommunication on the side of NIP there to know that PSK was holding such a power position where he could step out freely and collect kills as things progress forward from there. Really good round from Liquid, bringing it up to 5 and 3. 2 more and we go through to map number 4.
Oh, it's a heartbeat away, Des. You can just feel the momentum.
Great shot that, by the way.
You can just feel the momentum inside of this Team Liquid team at the minute. They are really pushing forward to take Chalet.
I love the emotion he shows, by the way, every time.
Absolutely wild. It's just in his very being, Des. He feels these down to his core.
I was speaking to my dad earlier and I was saying to him, there are some really intense players in Latam, and he's like, been to Brazil a few times, I know what you're talking about. I was like, look at this video. And it was Nesk when he was in his bedroom and he's like, it's my room. And he's like, hey, it's my room. And I was just like, what the hell is he doing? He's so excitable and high energy as a player, and when he gets going, imagine having this guy gassing you up from behind the desk. You're gonna love it every single day of the week.
Oh, it's ultimate hype, man. It's ultimate hype stuff.
The in-team hype man.
That's it. You just cannot. It must be infectious, like you say, when that energy starts to just rain out on the desk and he's slamming fists down and celebrating. It really must transfer through those players and just get everybody up to that sort of level now. Nesk, he's going to push immediately in towards the big garage there. He's not going to push any further for the time being. He's waiting for the drones to go out in front of him, and it's something that maybe hasn't quite been on point for Team Liquid throughout this, Des, has been that drone work. We've seen it very, very well used over the last couple of days, but doesn't seem to be quite as aggressive here. But there we go. That's what I'm talking about. That's what we want to see more of. A drone straight in front of Nesk, a live ping, and guess what? Another Nesk kill.
Hopefully that leads to more in the round. It's all been down to Palu and PSK so far on the map, and a third one online will definitely do no harm to Liquid's chances of walking away the winners in map number 3. I guess technically map number 2, but we'll say number 3, given the score at the top of the screen. 2 minutes in them, or 1 minute in, 2 minutes still remaining, I suppose I should have said. Starting to look about this vertical control again. We're seeing a little bit up towards the north side for NIP. Now the down a man, they're saying it's time to back away, but Moringa strikes, catching out the rotate perfectly. I imagine he was sat there waiting for Psycho to come running back down through Piano, and it's as simple as that to close things out. Muzi, now the one arguably you'd say is in danger, but Julio takes a gunfight onto Palu, walks away the winner. Can they even things out into a 3 versus 3, or is this where Liquid go 4 and 2?
All the pressure is coming from the north side of the map right now, Des. They've got that top 4 control, at least over in Solarium and Master, and now they're looking to extend it and to take over the entire thing. They've still got a man in office, they've still got a man at mezzanine. If they get those 2, it's almost certainly round to Team Liquid. But right now, they've just come up against a bit of a stumbling block. They've had to just back off the gas a little bit. They've got a man underneath now. PSK, he's going to try and help with office. He's going to open up vertical angles and try and just make this fight a little bit easier for Sexy Cake. He's trying to use that Maverick hole to get a line of sight, but Kamikaze, he's going to be able to find Nesk. In comes the nade. Muzi keeps himself alive in a very important position right now because he's stopping Team Liquid from sweeping across the top floor.
This is the dangerous one. Look at how much time's left, and all this warring is going on the north side of the map. It's nowhere near the site, but PSK is in his power position like always. He knows that the man's further back here, has the yellow ping on to say, I think he's down here, he can't contest. As NIP start to scramble to try and rescue their fallen comrade. The question is, can they get away with it before Liquid find the kill? Here we go, they all line up. Muzi only finds 1 before he gets put down. You thought there should have been more. 2 versus 2, make it a 1 versus 1. Kamikaze versus Moringa. Shots come out, can he hit the man? No, he can't. The SMG in hand, surely he wins, but no, it's PSK. 2 big rounds, gets Liquid over the line once more. They could go on and do this, Ace.
They really could. They are fighting back here, Des. They are ready and they are up for this. They want to take Chalet and move this match along, and nothing seems like it's going to stop them right now. They were stuck on that top floor, Des. They could not root Muzi out of office. He was absolutely locked in there. So what did they do? They just moved underneath and went downstairs instead and swept across the mid-floor. Muzi, Des, he had an opportunity. He could have closed the round out. He could have got all 3 kills on a different day, but he was unable to. The shots were hit onto the main stairs. Muzi was downed, and it absolutely rescued the round. Moringa, I cannot tell you how important that kill onto Muzi was.
This is such a tense gunfight as well. When it's taking 5 seconds like this and it all comes down to a crucial shot or 2, it can get so scrappy. But it feels like, again, it's the day to give a shout out to the players that aren't normally the ones who would celebrate. Kamikaze, godly shot onto Nesk. PSK stepping up and going massive, not a player that we would normally celebrate. He actually sits normally in the middle of ratings for the team, about minus 20 KD for the tournament, minus 6 on entry. Far and away from what we've seen Palu and Ness bringing out, but the 2 big rounds he's had. I spoke about that spot on the corner inside the hallway that leads into the main area of downstairs. He's had such an impact from there, and in that round to come up and win the 1 versus 1, that is what you want to see. Liquid at 6 and 3. It feels like we're about to have a series on our hand, Ace.
It really does. It's edging in that direction, and IP, I'm sure, will try to have something to say about it. But as I say, there's just this energy about Team Liquid now. You can see look how quickly they're approaching the building. Last time it was Nesk who got in there on the IQ, drone ahead of him, and it was just that very direct relationship between the droner and the entry fragger, and he was able to get that live ping and get the entry kill, and I'm sure that's something they're going to try to achieve again. Now Julio on the Kaidi had his nitro out ready. That's going to go back in the pocket for the time being. Long angles being held by Moringa from the rooftop once again. Nesk, look at him, Des. He's getting in there. He's being aggressive. He's working across the mezzanine, and he wants that entry. Nesk is absolutely desperate for kills right now.
So he should be. You know, he got that 300 record that he's slowly working his way towards. It's been a bit quieter on this map than other team members on his team, Palu and PSK. The game of the P's sees a longer angle, does connect it onto Muzi, gets a second. That's what you want coming out of Nesk. A C4 comes up from Pino elsewhere and brings down the support in Sexy Cake. Those 2 frags removed from the board, 2 still remain on Palu. And I think here in NIP spot 3 versus 4, you're starting to feel a little bit nervy. A 2 versus 4, Nesk goes big with a triple kill. That's what you want in round number 10. Has got to find 1 more. Pino, the last man left alive. If anyone can do this, it's going to be him. But a 1 versus 4 is a very, very tall mountain to climb.
Rotating back up the Solarium stairs, but Palu's got an angle, Des. There you go. The kill comes in. He was on the bathroom window. He knew exactly where the man was coming from. And that's going to be Team Liquid taking our second map of Chalet. And that leaves us now 2-1 to NIP. And it is game on.
Again, a big map where it wasn't the usual suspects that we should be hyping up for their contributions. Massive from Liquid. Goes to say it's not going to be a 3-0, but a 2-1. It's still backs against the wall for Liquid. And next, they believe they're stepping into a map picked by NIP. So some questions to be asked about that one. I have zero doubt until we go to our analyst though, but that will be after a very short break. Let's go to that whilst you, the players, and we can catch our breaths for a few.